Alrighty. Oh, Bloody Thunder, what are you doing? I was given a question by a subscriber, by Stunt Liberty. And go subscribe to them, because I'm subscribed to them. Go subscribe to them. And also, if anyone, please, if you've got any more questions, or any questions at all, ask me, because I'll actually do research. Any queries. This is called Kieran's Queries anyway. So come and write in the comments, I'm serious, write in the comments, and then I'll be like, yeah, sure, I'll go research on it. Because, it's more than well, I couldn't find the answers on Wikipedia in the first line of Wikipedia, so I don't know. So I will actually go into in-depth research. And the question was, if two twins, were, born roughly around the same time, but it's their birthday, and one's say in Europe, and one's in Australia, extremely different time zones. That's probably, 10 hours or something like that? That's probably more than that. Anyway, I don't know. It's 10 hours from Green Meridian, so let's add another hour. 11 hours. Alright. And then their birthday came along. Would one be older than the other? And the answer is, yes. I think. Because there wasn't a straight... I looked this up, and there wasn't a straight answer. It wasn't like yes. Because nobody's really thought of this. I don't think. But the reason why I do think it's a yes is because... I just blanked out for a sec. It's because of these notes. I've got the notes. These notes says... So the answer is yes. And basically you can break it down to the idea of time doesn't actually exist. We only determine time by, yes, there's the science of it takes 24 hours to spin the Earth, and it takes 365 days to spin around the sun. I understand that. But it's not an exact science. Like, the sun doesn't know time. It's really stupid what I'm saying. But we only determine the time zones because, well, time doesn't really exist. Sorry. And the reason that is because we determine that the time zones are the time zones. Somebody said we'll start here, and we'll start at Green Meridian in England, and anything past that is subtract an hour, and anything on the east is plus an hour. And then, yeah. So that's basically how it's determined. So, do I think yes? Do I think the answer is yes? Yes, because of the laws of our time. They might not be right, but they are the laws we have to... They are the rules. And if you're going to follow the rules, then the answer would be yes. And I've got a couple of examples. That's what it's called. Okay, so it kind of goes back to when I was researching, they had the idea of, two twins celebrate that are born 5 minutes apart. They celebrate their birthdays on 2 different days. One celebrates on the 17th and the other one on the 18th of March, and then 17th of March and the 18th of March. Why is that? It's because there was answers of like the time zone thing, but there was also the answer of the first one was born a couple of minutes towards 12 a.m. and then the other one was born a couple of minutes past 12 a.m. And it's the same thing. It's the same idea. It's just that we determine that this is that, and we have to follow the rule kind of thing. And I understand there is a science to it, but there wouldn't be a science to it if we didn't even determine that time was a thing. We only determine time that is a thing because of the idea of, okay, it takes 365 days and that's how we determine it, but it doesn't really mean that that time exists. There's a culture, I forget what culture it was, but they didn't, in their language or whatever, they didn't have an idea of time at all. Like, they didn't have words for it or anything. They didn't communicate before I was at a place, I will be at a place, I am at a place. They had none of that. Didn't I have this idea of time? And really, they're not incorrect. Like, they can still, like, they're not incorrect. We don't really have to have time. Anyway, another idea. I had a friend in primary school. He was born on the same day as me, and he was with the same age, but he was considered older. Why? Because he was born in Korea. And what's Korea? Slightly, you have Australia, South Korea's up here. I'm in Sydney. I'm more on the east end of the world. He's in South Korea. He's a couple of hours before, so he's older. Oh no, was I older? I don't know, I think I was older. Yeah, I was older. I was considered older. Doesn't matter who was considered older, it determines that somebody was considered older. We were born on this, we weren't twins, but we were born on the same day, and the time zones, and he was considered, I'm not explaining this very well. The answer is yes, but it's also no. Because you could say that if you just get rid of the rule of time and just say, well, they were born 5 minutes apart, and it doesn't matter if they're this 10 hours apart and he celebrates, it's still 5 minutes, because it's how do I explain this? You could say that, like, because they were born 5 minutes, it doesn't matter how far or close away and what time zones they are still 5 minutes time. They're still 5 minutes apart from each other because the whole law is bigger than the actual time zones. I'm explaining this very poorly, and I can't be bothered to do another take. Alrighty, did a quick edit. It's because somebody came in. Alright, so where was I? Basically, there's two answers. Yes and no. I don't have the answer, alright? I'm sorry, I don't have it. It's because these things they're designed to be subjective, kind of. So, there's the argument of yes, they would be different ages because of the time zones, because of the rules of time zones that humans have put in place. They said every blah 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 degree is this. But then if you get rid of that idea, then no. They're the same age because they were always born at the same time. Well, they were born at 5 minutes. So it doesn't matter if he's there or she's there and he's there or she. Who cares? All that matters is that 5 minutes continues on through time. So it doesn't matter. Yeah, it doesn't matter if one's in Europe and one's in Australia. It doesn't matter if it's March 17th or March 16th or 18th. Sorry. It only matters that they're 5 minutes apart. So the answer really is, it depends what you want. I kind of think no. Now that I think about it, I think that it doesn't. Yeah, the answer's no. Is one older? No. No. Because you could argue that it determines on the place you were born in. So it's not like, oh, I'm in Australia, I was born at 11:55 or whatever, but it's actually bloody, quick math, let's say 10 o'clock, let's say 10 o'clock, let's 11:55 p.m. and then I was actually born at 10 a.m. Do I celebrate it at 10 a.m. the time in the place I was born in? And that could be 6 p.m. over here. Do you know what I mean? Probably not. But yeah, look, the answer is there is no real answer. You could say it's up to you. You just have to kind of justify why that answer is the answer you're pursuing. Yeah. So yeah, I've done the research. I've spent time, and everyone's like, they didn't have ideas of that. I gotta wrap this up really quickly, but they didn't have they didn't really contemplate that idea, and they don't have that concept. So there is no real answer. Nobody has they probably thought of it, but they've never answered the question because there is no bloody answer. It depends. Time doesn't exist, so it doesn't really matter because yeah. That is my answer. No. Okay. Because time doesn't really exist. That's it. Bye.